Welcome to Energy Toning, where I talk about all things energy medicine, consciousness, and how to live your most healthy life. Hi everyone, my name is Liz and welcome to the Energy Toning podcast. And today's show is all about a tiny part of our brain which, when activated, can profoundly change our lives. The pineal gland is a small pine cone shaped organ in the brain and has been linked to our sleep-wake cycles, as well as the production of serotonin and melatonin. Some call it the seat of the soul or the third eye, believing it holds mystical powers. Others believe it produces and secretes DMT, otherwise known as dimethyltryptamine, a psychedelic so powerful that it was dubbed the spirit molecule for its spiritual awakening type trips. Revered amongst artwork and sculptures across several religious settings, such as the giant pine cone structure outside the Vatican, within ancient Egypts' Eye of Horus pictures, and Hinduism's third eye depicted on the gods Shiva and other deities, it represents an awakening or enlightenment as the ability to see into higher realms of existence and consciousness. Today, I have special guest Monica Batiste with me, who caught my attention in the Facebook group Quantum Truths JCK, as she described in one of her posts how she was able to activate her pineal gland through toning or singing. Given this is my area of interest in how we can use the sound of our voice for healing and well-being, I immediately read through her information, which she had provided in a PDF link, and went on to have my own very profound experience. So Monica is a yoga teacher with 14 years experience, as well as an artist who lives in Queensland, Australia. In this episode, we talk about the benefits of activating the pineal gland using the sound of our voice and how it can improve our physical and emotional well-being and the potential it holds for understanding our world on a deeper level. I've linked her websites in the description or show notes below if you would like to learn more about her. So, without further ado, let's get started. So I guess we should sort of go back to the beginning. Like, how did you become interested in the pineal gland and its potential?
My husband came home one day and said that he'd been reading an article about it and that the pineal is capable of being psychic and you can create more magic in the universe, better for the law of attraction. And he talked about how the Egyptians had used it. And he said, this is really exciting. And he bought us a lamp which flickers light and stimulates the opening of your pineal gland.
Fantastic. Where did you get that from?
Good. We bought that from Thailand, and It's called an Ajna and Neuro light. And it was also good for, it's good for balancing the brain and for building neurons. Yep. And even though it didn't seem to activate my pineal like this has, immediately I had more insights and I was more intuitive and it helped a lot. It was good lamp. I liked it. Yeah, there's definitely more and more research coming out with light therapy and brain activation and all of that. So yeah, it's exciting. You feel just like, well, sound healing as well. Yeah, it's interesting. It's great, isn't it? Yeah, this surge of wanting to connect to Indigenous roots and the shamanic practices, and it seems to come up quite strongly, especially this year. But so that was your first kind of exposure to the idea of the potential of the pineal gland. Well, it was one of the first. At the same time, I've been seeing a kinesiologist who's also a shaman, and you might have read one of my healings with her. Yeah. She, when I first started seeing her, she would say to me, "Oh, your pineal is closed. Let's do some work to open it up." So I'd already been introduced from her, but then we didn't. And she also has one of those lamps. So it was a combination of my husband becoming interested in and Anne-Marie talking to me about the pineal and its abilities. So it was about 4 years ago. Fascinating. And it's great that you and your husband are both sort of on that journey, or at least, you've both got that interest. That's at the moment, I'm way weirder than him. He likes the science, and I'm like, if it feels right, I know it's right. Yeah, you're the intuitive type and he's the analytical type. But he's on board, which is really good. So it does make it a lot easier. At least I'm not having to explain myself all the time. Yeah,
fantastic. And you're a yoga teacher like me as well, so that's one thing that we're in common. So what kind of yoga do you teach?
It's a combination of mostly I look for the emotional aspect of yoga. So it's all about honoring yourself, being where you are, doing it at the level that's yours. So it's a combination of, depending on the weather, because I'm at the beach in the summer, it's a lot more yin. And in the winter, it's a lot more vinyasa and strength because it's cold and we need to get warm. So it's always a combination of what's going on around us too. Sometimes there's a lot of noise around us, a lot of boot camps, and sometimes it's just super quiet. So it's a combination.
What part of Queensland are you from?
North Brisbane, Redcliffe.
Okay, lovely. And have you been teaching yoga for long?
About 14 years.
Oh, wow.
Before that, I was an aerobics instructor before that.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so you've got that fitness background as well.
You too?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, well, actually, I mean, I did practice yoga before I became qualified in fitness, but mostly Bikram yoga, and that sort of put me back together to, you know, and strengthen my interest in health and wellness. And and but I mean, I you know, I still love just the, you know, run-of-the-mill fitness, but yoga is something special.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, I love yoga, and I didn't know I was going to love it. So I started teaching yoga because I was burnt out and could no longer do aerobics. It was just too hard for my body. So then I switched to yoga, and at first, you know, took a little time to get used to it. And then once I realized how wonderful it was, I just love it more and more and more. The potential for yoga, it's great.
Yeah, definitely.
All the things, you can do everything with yoga.
You can explore so many different aspects of just what it is to be human. You know, and I mean, before I actually became an instructor, I had no idea of the depth of the science of what yoga is, you know, and so that really blew me away. And now just sort of getting into the sound, the yoga of sound, that's another dimension.
Oh, tell me about that.
Well, just I mean, what you've been doing basically is all part of the you know, those teachings from thousands of years ago that sound can transform. And it's funny, you know,
it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, all this old stuff coming back, and
it is amazing. So since you've been doing this pineal gland activation, so you mentioned you're feeling more intuitive, you're getting more downloads of things. What about just general health things as well? Like,
definitely, I've noticed that I'm detoxing more frequently because my body is balancing a little more. So I can see that I have more energy where that the chronic fatigue has gone on for a very long time. And so I've still been very tired in the afternoons, but since I reached that higher level, I'm not needing to nap so much. I have more energy. My mood is much better. I've gained in strength because I do strength training as well, and it's taken me a long time to build up my strength, but I feel like I'm getting gains a little faster. So I can see that my health is improving.
That's fantastic. So even if people are skeptical of, you know, the extra dimensional aspect of the pineal gland and how that might take us into other realms and all of that, just the physical health benefits alone seems to be, even if you didn't want to explore that other side, it's like just it seems to be worth, you know, exploring too. I mean, I notice you're also a fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza. And you know, and how he says just that the anti-aging benefits and the antioxidants, anti-cancer, all of that.
I look forward to that. Yay.
Hey.
I look forward to that.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it's already started for you. So.
Yeah, and even just the serotonin and the melatonin benefits.
Absolutely.
Even if that in itself would transform a whole life.
Definitely.
A whole life. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I've also suffered from depression and anxiety, and just feeling emotionally better. It's already helping me with my grandchildren and my daughters and my husband. Just generally, I find that I'm able to connect. I'm connecting so much more with nature, with people. I have more compassion. I'm not jumping to anxiety. I'm quicker to get to compassion on a situation.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Just that would be enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And can you imagine if society in general was open to this as like a, a daily practice? You wouldn't even have to get spiritual about it, or woo-woo. You could just say, this is like just working out at the gym, but it's just another thing again, and it's going to have all these benefits to it. Now, what about, can you explain more about the muscle testing that you did
yes, but I'd need to put this down. Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just pop it in my knees for a moment so you can see my hands.
Yep.
So this is a muscle test that I learned from another kinesiologist. So you put your two circles together and ask questions. So I would say, show me a yes, show me a no. You do need to trust yourself and not think about it too much. So show me a yes, show me a no. My name is Monica. Yes. My name is Mary. No. You press, you pull your fingers apart with the same pressure, but when your body's agreeing with you and when your body doesn't agree with you, it's firm. For me, I did that with Crane this morning.
Could it be the other way around?
Some people will be the other way. Yeah. I did it with Crane this morning. I showed him how to do it. His was the other way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so once I felt confident that my muscle testing was accurate because I tried it on lots of different things, I then started, I've been testing everything. Yeah. How's my right brain? How's my left brain? How's my executive functioning? How's my corpus callosum? How's my frontal lobe? And how old am I? How old am I biologically? And I'm asking questions all the time now. So it's been fun actually learning to do that.
Yeah, fantastic. And where did you learn that? Was that also from your kinesiologist or you?
That was from another kinesiologist that I know in Redcliffe. She taught me that.
Fantastic. Yeah, because I know, kinesiology, that's really what kinesiology is all about, isn't it? It's like they start with the arm, whether you're strong or weak and testing all that out. So, but even better if you can do it on yourself, because then you're more self-reliant and and how do you find that different foods and drink affect all of this?
I'm already sensitive to foods, so I haven't really altered that a lot, except I'm muscle testing a little bit more to say, is this food okay? Is this supplement okay? Do I need this? Do I need that? So I have, is that what you were talking about, the muscle testing or the pineal?
Yeah, or both really, yeah.
Yeah, so I've already looking at a plant-based diet, and I'll just show this so it's not so noisy. So I'm already looking at the best quality food and water and everything that I can do.
Yeah.
And I think that all of this helps. It all helps. It helps us become more aware and more sensitive and able to move forward.
Yeah, so it's definitely an important aspect of...
Yeah, definitely. For our vibrationals. I'm trying to keep a high frequency. Yeah. So perhaps if I was doing pineal tuning but eating a very low vibrational diet, it would take longer. I would assume. Yeah.
Yeah. And it'll be also interesting because everyone's body is slightly different. Some people do amazing on a vegan diet and other people get really sick on a vegan diet. And of course, it depends on what choices you're making on that vegan diet. But it would be interesting to see, say like there are some people that are carnivores, but they're also energy workers. And, what would be the difference there?
Yeah.
But so you're plant-based, vegan or vegetarian?
I eat fish. And eggs and honey, and the rest is vegan or plants.
Yeah, great.
But I may shift. I don't know, because as things go on, things might change again.
Yeah, and it's, I guess it's all about tuning in and the muscle testing and also being more in contact with opening up the pineal will give you more intuitive insights as to what you need anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's all
True.
helpful, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's a journey.
Yeah, absolutely. What else did I want to ask you? So how might you use this in your yoga classes? Like, is this something that you incorporate into your yoga classes?
Definitely. When the winter is the sunrise at the same time as my yoga class.
Mm-hmm.
So when the sun rises, we stop whatever we are doing and we do a pineal tuning. We watch the sunrise, we visualize the sun coming in to our pineal and becoming bright like the sun and opening up and activating our pineal and our intuition. So it's really nice. So it helps my students know about the pineal and where it is and how to activate it. And it helps me as a teacher because I'm able to tune in more with my students and what they need. I'll say, oh, this person needs this. This one needs me to say that. And so it helps me balance out their needs and my needs.
Fantastic. And being in Queensland, I'm imagining, so your sunrise will be around, what, 6 a.m. or something like that?
It starts at about 4:30.
Oh, wow.
And my class is at 6 a.m. So in the summer, we don't do any.
Yeah.
I don't get up that early.
No.
And then as the winter goes closer, so now we're at about 5:30 for the sunrise.
Right.
So in about 30 days, I'll be able to do sunrise yoga. We'll be able to do the pineal at the beginning of the class. In the middle of winter, the sun rises at 6:45.
Right.
So we're pretty cold and we're just really looking forward to the sun by then. So we'll do it whenever the sun is rising between 6 and 7 a.m. we stop and do a pineal activation.
Fantastic. So it sounds like you're really in tune with nature with your yoga classes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we do whatever is the day.
Yeah.
If it's raining heavily, we go to my house, but if it's just a light sprinkle, we stay at the beach.
So for anyone that's considering, say, let's imagine someone's listening to this and they're completely new to toning and, opening the pineal gland or activating it, but they're interested. What would you say would be the first thing for them to start thinking about?
Read as much as you can about the pineal and how to decalcify it and the benefits and the opportunities of having an active and an open pineal. And then start by maybe eating well and doing all those things that's recommended. And then tuning, I think you could start tuning straight away. So looking for the note of the pineal. And there's another lady on our page called Julie who's a professional singer. And I recorded my voice for her. And she said I was from A to A sharp and then I dropped down to B. So I'm not a professional singer. And like I said to her, if I can activate my pineal and not be a trained singer, then everybody should be able to. Yeah. So it seems to be A. The note of A is the pineal tuning note. And I used that breath that I learned from Joe Dispenza with the, and then
trying to say, pumping up the cerebral spinal fluid. Yeah.
And then I also noticed when I do it that I hold my diaphragm and push the sound into my pineal. Even though Joe doesn't recommend you hold your breath, it's not really holding your breath. I'm holding the note and singing it to that spot. And I find that pressure helps me jump higher, faster.
Yeah.
And it also, I'm sure that has helped me release DMT as well, because there's been a couple of times where I've really focused on for a few minutes at a time and not throughout the day, where I've just become so happy and relaxed afterwards, like a natural high.
Yeah, definitely. And when you feel you have released DMT, are you getting any visuals like the geometric shapes or specific colors?
That's interesting. Yes, I do. And one day I was napping, and as I was coming awake, there was a gold sheet in front of me with millions of numbers on it. all downloading into me. So I suppose, I don't know if that's related to DMT or if that was just something I saw, a vision. And I get a lot of colours, not necessarily while I've got my eyes open, but when my eyes are closed.
Well, that was my experience, and as I commented on your Facebook post, I was explaining how my experience after reading your PDF was really profound. And I mean, because it's common for me to see purple when I close my eyes and meditate. Like I see a swirling purple, and I get that fairly frequently. But this was just really dramatic. It was all the colors, and it was this deep sort of this reddy kind of purpley color as well. And,
beautiful.
But then the netting that sort of started swirling around as well.
Wow.
I wondered whether, that it's a matrixy kind of, who knows? But
well, then the neural network, perhaps, that the pineal seems to create and support. The network, like it's like a network, even though. Well, I know what you're talking about. I can see it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can explain it.
No, it's hard. There's like a spinning sort of, and it almost like going into some sort of vortex or whatever.
Yes, I do know what you're seeing. Yeah. How's your activation going? Have you been muscle testing and seeing how you're going?
Yeah, I haven't been muscle testing, but I will. I'm going to start that. I just wanted to see how I went after that experience I had. It's funny because since I had that experience that night, I haven't had as dramatic as experience. Still some nice things, but not like that. That was almost like beginner's luck in a way. And
it might have been you saying to yourself, this is right, keep doing this.
Yeah. And I think because I do have experience with muscle testing, but I haven't really, I wouldn't say I'm at a level where I could trust myself to do it effectively. I think, I just need to play around more with the yes, no's and just to confirm that that's strong. And then, I'll start working with that, with the pineal activation. But it's all very exciting. And I just think, this is almost like it needs to be the future, because think about what's happening in the world at the moment and the information that's everywhere, the information, the genders and you could just get so overwhelmed, especially people who like to read alternative news and mainstream news and figure out what's going on. At the end of the day, you've got to bring it back to yourself. It's like, well, what's true for me? And if you haven't activated that intuitive side of yourself,
it's very confusing and it's very hard to know what to believe if your intuition is not active. Really hard.
It's just something that is worth paying attention to now. It's the next
like if I look back to how it was before, it was really hard. It was really hard to know anything, and really I was I guess you could say asleep. I just knew what I was told and I tried very hard to fit in. And I always felt miserable and I didn't know why.
And now it's starting to be clearer to you as to
much clearer. Now it's interesting now having a different awareness. What I see on TV and what I know, what information comes to me is not what is being seen. And even when I'm talking to people, I can see more and understand more of what's being said, and it is very handy to have strong intuition. Very handy. And I can it would be just so important if everybody could activate that, and how much better all of our lives would be.
Absolutely. And now, where can people find you? Like, you're online, so you've got artwork and things like that.
Well, I want my website. I've got 2 websites, actually 5, but mostly I use monicabatiste.com.au and monicabatistartist.com.au. So on my monicabatiste.com site is where I sell my books and my yoga classes and a blog, and on my artist site is just paintings and drawings. But that's not but that's not where I talk about all this sort of stuff. I don't even, I've never really talked about this before. I've never talked about because I get a lot of visions and I visit past lives and I have a lot of healing. So I'm constantly writing these down as stories, but I've never published anything before. The pineal tuning is the first thing I've published.
And do you think, would you be open to leaving that link where people can download that PDF that you provided?
Oh, yeah, it's still on my website. It's on store. So if you go to shop or store, it's the first link at the top.
Great. Excellent. All right. Well, I think that's all I really had to ask today. So thank you so much for joining me, and it's so lovely to meet you. And
lovely to meet you too. Thank you very much for inviting me.
No worries. And I look forward to connecting again in the future sometime.
Me too. Thank you, Liz.
Just before you go, would you like to supercharge your meditation? Would you like to release negative energy and experience profound inner peace in 10 minutes or less? If so, take the 7-day energy toning challenge that has freed up people's hearts, minds and emotions and unleashed their personal power using nothing but their own voice. Click the link below to find out more.